They still seem to believe that Abed does not have his own pickup as of yet, which could be very true. You could run the offlane Kunkka and say the pos for Snapfire, or the other way
Mm-hmm.
around if you really want, and just get Abed another hero. We'll see the Troll Band as well for Motivate.Trust, so Among Us seem to believe they are lacking a position 1. I'm pretty sure we've seen Jackie play safe lane Ember, if I remember correctly. It
Yeah,
may have
yeah,
been
yeah. We
during
have.
the group stages or may have been during ESL 1 Thailand before this, but
Mm.
I'm very, very sure I did see Jackie playing Ember Spirit POS 1. Not that I think it's a great idea, though. I do think the hero is very weak right now. It's probably better to just get a solid POS 1 to run here. But you are running out of options now, as Among Us is just focusing on those position 1s. What's the last one they want to ban here? Do they want to get rid of the Terrorblade themselves?
Hmm.
Maybe the PL. We've seen lots of Jackie PL over time.
Yeah, that would be pretty darn good. I mean, you'd worry about the Kunkka, I guess, but overall, you don't have to worry about too much else. Like the PA, but a Battle Fury might be able to deal with it. It's still overwhelming, especially once that diffusal is up. So probably not something Among Us would want to play into. They do take care of a Ricky though, so
Okay.
not gonna have that Magnus Ricky combo, which is pretty potent. Uh, you've got a lot of options here for MG.Trust in closing out. You mentioned a PL could come in, the TB could come in. Um, I have a
Just run Sven. That's what
train.
I want to see. Just Sven
Yeah,
Magnus. Just run Sven Magnus.
yeah.
Do it.
It's a good one. You've got the Oracle. You can just really hammer in if you wanted to. I have a feeling that no, Lifestealer's banned out. Would have been a decent time. The Lifestealer PA matchup, which is back and forth, but the Lifestealer can pull ahead. Not there. Yeah, I'd say Sven. I think that's the most exciting, but illusion-based heroes would be okay here. So
I mean,
MG.Trust
obviously.
have to hammer it in.
I just personally want to see Sven. They do go for the Timbersaw, which is obviously the smarter
Oh.
pick up against the PA
Hmm.
and Kunkka. You know me, I love the Sven Magnus, John. It's just ridiculous
Oh
the
yeah.
amount of cleave you get.
Oh
Obviously, it
yeah.
wasn't a great pick into the PA, but would have liked to see it. Still Among Us now. Their last pickup, they don't really have much in the way of dealing with the Timbersaw. Apart from maybe you've got Disrupt the Snapfire, which is decent in terms of kill potential on the Timber, but apart from that, they are lacking just a little bit, and I do believe Masros on the Timber should have a
Hmm.
pretty good time up against the PA matchup.
Yeah.
Unless they switch it up and put Timber mid up against Arbed. Timber does win most of the mid matchups as well, so Among Us, what are they going to do here? Because you've got 3 heroes on the side of Motivate that could all be in the mid lane.
I think we're just gonna be looking for. I really feel like it's Kuki here that comes out last year, so we're just seeing the Abed Kunkka unless they swap it with a snap, which we haven't seen a pause for Kunkka in a very long time though, so I don't think that's a possibility. And the off lane here, you're dealing with either an Ember or Magnus, depending on what they flex as their pause one. Although it's looking likely that, as you mentioned, Jackie Ember should be in play here. Okay,
Ooh,
no,
okay,
all
good
right.
pick.
OD, that's gonna be a nice one. We haven't seen too much of it, but it is rather effective. So it is the Abed OD up against, well, we'll have to see, but either one, it's gonna be melee. It is gonna be okay. Masaros Timb. So the Jackie. Okay, no, it's an Ember mid. So it's the Jackie safe lane mag coming out. I think that's decent. I think it's a good time overall. You have to worry about the OD Ember matchup. That one can be back and forth. Really big spikes there for the OD once you hit level 3, level 4. You can really sustain your mana up. Really easy to punish this lineup with the OD as well. They don't have the biggest mana pools here from MG.Trust. Neither do they have the greatest int gain. So it's going to be pretty static overall. The OD is going to have a good time dropping the Santies here. BKBs are going to be key, but it's going to be a great back and forth. They've got explosive lineups both sides. It's going to be a good show, Mike.
It is going to be a good show. Whose draft do you like better, though, John? Let's just ignore the teams for
Hmm.
now. Tell me which draft you think has the upper hand,
Upper hand. That's a tough one.
regardless of
I think
teams.
draft wise.
Yeah, just
Draft
draft
wise,
wise.
it's really even. It's really even. If I had to give an advantage, I would say Among Us with the OD. I feel like it's just going to do so much work here. It's going to rip through the timber saw. Yeah, we were looking for a hero to handle that. OD does that pretty darn well. You just have to meet certain timings. It's easier to pull this one off. MG.Trust. I mean, they've got some really good timings as well. I think Masaras has a lot of pressure to really buy space out early on the Timbersaw. Just be annoying in lane. Play between those tier 2, tier 3s that we tend to see, or between the tier 1 and tier 2 at the 10-minute mark. Just be disruptive, force a response. But Among Us might not be the kind of team to fall for that bait. So it's a back and forth. I do value that OD in this lineup. It's just such a great last pick against a Mag, against a Timp, against even the Ember. Good hold, good punishment for the low mana pool. It's gonna be able to do some work here, Mike.
I would agree with you on that. I am kind of leaning towards the draft of Among Us, but I am very curious to see what Jackie can get done on this Magnus. Not 100% sure about that Ember Spirit either, obviously. I did bring it up in the draft phase, but I do think the hero is just a bit weak right now in the current meta. Obviously still can be effective, but I don't know. We'll see. For some reason, when the game came up, Dota+ opened, and Dota+ agrees, by the way, John. 52% the way of Among Us to start off this game.
Wow. Yeah, I'm still just. What's up with the Ogre King?
Ogre King? What are you talking about?
Yeah, Boom. Jabs. No. Yeah, Whitemon been saying every start of the game, just saying Ogre King, and Jackie just replies with Whitemon. And then you have this Thai chatter from Savage. So I have no clue. It's nice to see though both sides are both sides are in a good mood, and apparently Boombell wants to go, Mike. Just
Here
go.
we go again. Why does he do it, John? What's
I
the
know.
secret? What are you doing, White One? Tell us what you're doing.
Maybe he's asking for the wisdom of the Roshan of the Pit. You know, like that meme. Oh, Roshan of the Pit, what is your wisdom? So they twack him.
I only went for one hit this time as well. I've been saying I haven't been able to sleep because of the hype games, John. I've been lying. It's all about White One. I can't sleep. I've been wondering all night, why does he do this? Is this the answer to winning MMR? Is this what we need to do before the pub game starts?
Perhaps, Mike. I mean, it's been working out for Among Us. They only dropped one game. They haven't dropped a series. Top seed. If Whitemon doing this gives them that, then I guess it's a worthwhile experiment to do, Mike.
I'll give it a shot in my next pub, John.
Still, solid lanes, just even trades and bounties. We're gonna see the lanes evolve. You do have Jackie top with his Magnus. Of course, he's gonna be joined by Q. So it's the Magnus Moran lane. Does not sound too exciting. I guess you've got skewer arrow opportunities here, which can work, or just getting the range creep, securing yourself a steady start. You are up against a Kunkka Snap. This is a pretty aggressive duo. Have to watch your level 2 spikes. It's pretty massive. They can set up for themselves with X and cookies. Lots of damage can fly in as well. A lot of work here Q has to put in to buy that space out for Jack.
Certainly. Also in the mid lane, we'll see Arbed versing Fearless, and so far it is favoring Fearless, but as levels go up on Arbed, of course, this matchup does become kind of infuriating to go up against. The OD will just continuously spam Astral Imprisonment every time you want to get a CS and force you to miss out on them. Arbed should have a nice little advantage in that mid lane, I'd say.
Yeah. And again, you mentioned it gets worse as it goes on. Level 3, when you have level 2 Astral, gets really annoying. That range lets you really just cast it safely. And Fearless, you see, every time the Flame Guard's up, you just time that imprisonment, you don't get value.
Very low down at that bot lane, trying to fight back, but he does not have reactive armor. And 23 Savage is going to be able to get the first blood into Whitemon. He's trying to run away, and will make it out as Boombell now going to be chased down by Savage. He wants the double. The static kinetic field is not going to hold him in. Bit unfortunate there for Savage, but he does get the first blood gold. And of course, the Oracle is going to have to eat through all the regen he has left.
Yeah, and this is a really good start for Savage. Not the start we expect. You expect the Turban to really step it up, but level 1 is its weakest point. So good place for Among Us to understand that, to abuse it. And, you set up Savage like this, that means if he keeps this up, Battle Fury timing's going to be good. Boombell has to make something happen here. He can't allow Whitemon to just constantly spam out his spells and kind of try to zone that other support out.
Arbed's just getting even more annoying in this mid lane now. That Astral up to level 2. Fearless having a tough time dealing with it. Is probably going to have to bring out some more regen. Does get a salve out and does use it straight away. It's tough one for Fearless.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think he went for the Flame Guard build as well to mitigate that, but again, you're not getting value from it because every time he turns it on, Abed just pops his own.
Yep.
See, so there's just no push, and the Flame Guard, I mean, it's tankier now at level 2, but as the damage goes up from Abed, that's just not gonna last long. Although,
got the chains off and the slide. Fearless gets Abed again.
Pretty good timing there in the level 4. I mean, he literally just hit it, got the chains off, then really got that kill. Have to be cautious, but just pushing his luck a bit more than he'd want and gets punished. So Fearless, we've seen this in game 1, but give him a good start like this, even from a slower start, he can really make it work.
Savage got killed off by a neutral creep. How? How did that happen though? Seriously? Oh, it was the tomato creep. He thunderclapped. He thunderclapped because of the creep wave. And it was perfectly timed. Oh, that is so unfortunate for MG.Trust. That was their kill to take.
Yeah, but you know, you don't secure it. Creeps take it away from you. It happens. Savage going to be counting his lucky stars for that one. Still the 4-minute mark, and Abed does get to secure the invis. So not going to have a bottle refill here for Fearless. He's just going to have to farm safely in his small camp, which you can do more efficiently than the OD. And, you know, he is pulling slightly ahead because of these rotations out, so Fearless still having room to play catch-up. Overall, the lanes for MG.Trust, not the most shining, but they are starting to find some ways to apply that aggression. Like, they're really pumping it onto Savage down bot, zoning him out. They are getting a little bit of space out for Jackie. It's not as much as you'd want, so there are things that could go better here for MG.Trust, but they're focusing on some stacks every now and again from the jungle as well.
They are. Savage is still doing very, very well in CS though on that PA, just really abusing the dagger of that Phantom Assassin and has been able to maintain his own CS. So is Fearless, however, and of course so is Jackie up at that top lane. Just still farming on the mag, still having a great old time. No real pressure being applied onto the Magnus quite yet. At the very least though, they will be able to get both the top bounty runes, but both the bottom bounty runes will go the way of MG.Trust. It's going to be a nice 2-for-2 even sort of trade between the two. It's probably one of those games as well, like just based off these drafts, where you are going to have to wait till the mid-game, where you'll see it get very explosive between these two teams. But all their heroes basically are going to require a lot of XP to be effective.
Yeah, it really does. So it's a slower start, just waiting for those level spikes. All
Remnants onto Abed. Fearless, he kind of missed a couple of those. Fearless now going to get cookied on by Jabs with the Scatter Blast out, and he has no remnants to get back out of this one. He'll try to make a run for it. Stick charges up, Slider Fist to dodge an attack, but it's not going to be enough. They have the glimpse there. They have the Astral from Abed. They will gift the man a free kill.
It's a great one coming out. Good punishment from Among Us. You have to be cautious about that kind of play from Fearless. Him throwing out all your remnants behind the tier 1. Not landing the kill. Really sticky situation still. They do manage to find a good courier kill. I believe that was actually Cuckoo's boots. So he's going to be a bit slower here in the top lane. You are starting to see Jackie pull ahead. He's much more efficient at going at those camps as well in the Magnus. So that's something for Among Us to watch out for. Just giving the safe lane mag a bit too much space might lead to a fast Echo Saber, a fast blink. And we know how MG.Trust plays around with that blink. They don't hesitate with these RPs.
No, they do not. Fearless, nice rotation out on the Ember. Going to go after Savage, but you can't really hold him down very well with level 1 chains. The only other option here for Fearless is to try and push down that bot tier 1 tower. But they don't really have a siege creep on the way either, so there's really no point being here. Fearless, he'll just farm up a bit while he's around, but this is going to give Abed plenty of space in that mid lane to just keep farming up on the OD now. The mid lane for the die has just been left empty.
Yeah, it's really not a lane you want to sustain against the OD anymore. Level 3 Astral out. He's got the mana sustain from the Essence Flux now. You are making it hard for Savage to farm, so he does switch lanes. He's going up top. They might be looking for a bit of chip damage in that tier 1. Maybe even kills if they can land the X combo here with Cuckoo.
Q could be in a spot of danger. Savage going to make the jump, but doesn't have that 6 mark. Can't really crit right now. The Dire jungle, Jackie trying to take stacks, but Cuckoo is going to be there to interrupt with Jabs and Abed. It's heads up play from the side of Among Us. They had a nice deep ward there to scout out these stacks. Now they're just going to take all of them.
it's a lot of farm that's going to go their way. And ooh,
Savage. He got the level 6 now. Does kill off Q as soon as he gets it.
that's a big one. That's a freebie for Savage. Remember, this PA is going for the Battle Fury Rush. So if he gets these free kills, gets that build up, it's going to be pretty hard to slow down his farm. He's just going to focus on building up. He's going to have a lot of damage out. You do see MG.Trust, I mean, Masaros down bot is shoving in that tier 1. You don't have any sort of trade coming out for Among Us. Still at least have a free lane now in the bot with the tier 1 gone.
It'll just be a direct trade. Among Us will try to do the same up that top lane. It's just going to be a bit slower for them. This is prior to all the siege creeps being out anyway. But Savage will eventually get it done there with Cuckoo. Unless we do have Masaros, who's going to TP in on the Timber and be there to defend. Savage try and go in onto Masaros, but he has the reactive armor stacks going. It's going to be very, very hard to do with Masaros, and it seems like that might be the game plan here for MG.Trust. Just never allow this top tier 1 to go down. Keep Masaros here on the Timber Saw, and he can just indefinitely defend.
Yeah, it's going to slow down any map progression for Among Us. Savage makes a smart play, just TP's back bot to farm up. MG.Trust need to control this jungle to prevent this kind of play, but Fearless is around to try to find a kill.
Go on to Whitemon. Glimpse away, but the arrow is going to connect from Q, and Fearless, that is a great glimpse dodge with the Sleight of Fist. They do get Whitemon. Not too big of a kill, but they're definitely going to appreciate it, and they might even make a rotation into the mid lane onto Arbed. I think Arbed should be just fine. He is keeping his distance.
Yeah, it's that time of the game where Among Us need to take a step back, just play the farming game. Abed is on a bit of a slower core. You know, it's not as space-making as his other cores, although Cuckoo might be able to make some plays happen.
He X's up Fearless. Fearless still going to keep fighting, but there's plenty of heroes around. They'll go towards the Remnant, but Abed didn't have the Astral yet. They'll glimpse him back instead. Fearless has another Remnant to use, but the Static Storm is going to be dropped. He can't get out of the silence either, and Savage is going to walk in to help out with the kill. Fearless just playing too far on the edge there, does pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Fearless in that kind of spot before. He is buying a lot of space out for his team, though, so this is space Jackie's using to really just build up a foundation for the Magnus. He's top of last, it's not top of net worth right now in that Mag. You want to widen that lead a bit more in that hero, but, you know, you are getting that space out. Masaros as well is just constantly shoving the top tier 1. Keeping jabs in this spot, so you don't have to mean things. Although they TP down here, Cuckoo.
Well, Masaros going to be slightly cautious. Fearless does kill off Whitemon down at the bot lane, but you don't want to lose Masaros like this. He does get torrented in the cookie. Abed has sanities, but won't commit yet. He'll just get the Astral off. Shotgun is going to be out from jabs, and that's going to be enough. Masaros will die for the second time this game. He was just about to have his Hood of Defiance coming out as well in the courier, but looks like he might just have to wait till he respawns. Still, while that's happening, they are taking the mid-tier 1 tower, so this is very worthwhile for MG.Trust, but now they've got to get the hell out of here. Fearless needs a Remnant. Cuckoo looking for an X attempt, won't throw it out yet. Fearless still playing on the edge, does eventually get away, but now Abed has the Astral Imprisonment, and that'll mean they can easily get Fearless with the cookie out. They do. 23 Savage to want to pick that one up, and that'll make it a 6-3 now. 11.5 minutes in.
Yeah, it's not here you want to lose here on MG.Trust. They haven't really found opportunities for Jackie to come in with the RP as well. So they're not winning out these team fights without popping that spell. And they're going to lose their own tier 1. It's going to be a trade coming out in the end. I think Among Us are going to be happy with that. MG.Trust, you know, looking at this build in Jackie, he did go for the Mask of Madness, but he's still going into the Echo Saber. So it's going to be a bit longer until we get that blink up on our Mag. And even then, I think you will need a BKB for sure for Jackie. So looks like they're going to go for a bit more of a passive game with her Magnus. Just keep farming up. But Among Us, they're not waiting around. They do smoke up here.
I don't think you want to wait either. Like, that Mask of Mana's Echo Saber is going to really hurt once he connects with the RP. Maybe not for Savage, but if you ignore hitting Savage and you hit someone else, the cleave can't miss. So Savage can still die to the cleave damage of the Magnus, as long as he gets enough cleave damage off during the RP.
Yeah, It's one way to handle that PA. Still, the smoke amounts to nothing, so not going to be the best there for Among Us, but MG.Trust, they smoke up as well.
They do, and they're down to the bot lane. Just as 3 for now, but you already have Jackie hanging around for an RP. He's going to try and bait in the side of Among Us down to this bot lane, but they know something's wrong. Hide in the tree line and just wait this one out. Jabs, looks like he'll remain safe, but that arrow not going to scout anyone.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They're going anyway. Remnant, Fearless does now get Jabs. Cuckoo going to immediately TP away. Jabs has no way out. They will miss out on the Cuckoo kill, however.
Yeah, it's still a neat little pick-off for MG.Trust. Their smoke does at least give them some gold. Not quite here they'd want to slow down, but you'll take what you can get. That does still delay our Snapfire's Ag's timing. So you're still finding some small wins here and there. Among Us, though, they're using this time well. They're just farming up themselves. Savage is pretty close to his Battle Fury, so Treads rate band Battle Fury by 15-minute mark, looks like. It's no, not even 15, like around the 14:10, maybe 14:20. Once you've got that up, you're going to be happy as the PA to keep farming up. Among Us, I think MG.Trust needs to really start leveraging this RP. They've got the Echo Saber up, so they can get some hits in. They just have to find a good opening here for Jackie.
They do. Fearless will barely dodge out that torrent. They are heading down towards the south where they'll see Jabs on the Snapfire, and they want to make sure Jabs has a bad game so he never gets that Aghanim Scepter. Right now, he is going to be about 3.2k worth of gold off the Ags. But they won't spot him out. Jabs will be safe. They'll head over to the mid lane instead. They're not going to find anyone there either. So the side of Among Us are playing some very, very nice kind of cat and mouse games here with Motivate. Not allowing them to get close until they are ready with their own items on Among Us. Well, maybe the bot lane. They saw Cuckoo, they see Jabs. They may dive for this. Remnant is there. Cuckoo going to get spotted out. Gets the chains off into the arrow. He did boat, so his team is going to come in and try to help him out. Cuckoo, he'll pop the drums and try to survive this, but there's the Moonlight Shadow now. Still the Static Storm has caught out Fearless on the Ember, but it's not going to last long enough. Fearless, he'll be alright. Still Arbet going to go for it with the Sanity's drop. It's not going to be too much damage, but it might just be enough for Fearless with the Mortimer's Kisses. No, they get the False Promise in time, so he is going to be able to Remnant away, but Jackie's still in danger. He'll go for the RP, but is it going to be enough damage? Arbet, he gets arrowed by Q. He'll die. Savage going to jump back in on Jackie. Does get the kill back, but might die himself, and he does. Masaros able to take the kill on the Timber, and now Q's going for more onto Cuckoo. Cuckoo's so close to dying, just can't go down yet, but the chains not going to be there. The X was out from Cuckoo. Into Jabs. Arrow is going to not connect. Ooh, a close call. Still a 2-for-1 trade for Motivate.Trust, and they will be very, very happy with that.
Oh, definitely a big win. Really top-shelf play coming out from Boombell. Good use of his False Promise. Great RP as well, though they're not stopping here. Among Us does not want this tower to fall. They're going to keep contesting.
I don't blame them. They know they're ahead. They know they've got the stronger draft at this time in the game. The OD and PA just don't have enough farm up yet to fight, especially up against this Timbersaw. They'll leave the T2 tower at very, very low HP. They'll go back, they'll get some more farm up now, Motivate. Obviously, you want to wait for that RP and Moonlight Shadow, and even the False Promise to be back up before you engage again. But they are eventually going to go back down towards that bot T2 tower and see if they can take it out for free, and it looks like they will be able to get it done.
Yeah, it's going to cause some issues for Among Us not having easy access for their own jungle. They're going to have to play in the Star jungle. They've been pretty good with staying around there, getting their vision down, farming around, but they need a lot more farm. I think Abed, he's going for the Hurricane Pike. Once you have that, it's easier to get the damage out, but I think in this case you really need, I'd say, some BKBs to just stand and fight. That's really pertinent as well for Savage. He is still working towards that Desolator that we tend to see in the PAs. It's going to be a little while longer. Barely has the gold for one Mithril Hammer. So it's going to be a while until the Deso plus the BKB is online. And that's just a lot of time where MG.Trust can kind of bring that power out. And you saw it in the last fight. They've got the Blink out in Jackie now. They do have RP ready. They could easily find enforce some openings out from Among Us and start to really build up a bigger lead, and they do smoke up.
MG.Trust, they've got that RP blink up. They want to make advantage of it. Still a Hurricane Pike now there on Abed. So this could be nice timing from him. However, in the Radiant Triangle, Savage going to get spotted, but Smoke is broken. They want to go after the PA with the Remnants forward, but he'll blink, but what a great Fortune's End into the RP, but they've got the Static Storm and Bow down just in the nick of time. Cuckoo's trying to run, but he is going to die. Now the glimpse back onto Masaros, making sure he can't get any more vision. However, Fearless is going to jump back in by himself with that DD rune. Sanity's not going to be enough to kill him off. Now Jackie back in, does kill off Jabs. They've even got Whitemon on the Disruptor, but the Astral will save him for now, but not for long, as he is going to die. Another 3 heroes dead for the side of Among Us, and Motivate.Trust, they are starting to look really good in this game number 2.
And it's that big spike we expected from the Magnus. With the blink, Jackie can just find these big punishments for the clump ups. Among Us are just getting a bit reckless. Their ward game has also kind of faltered. They've only got 1 ward out now. They need some more vision on this map. They need to start getting safer farm out. They can't allow these kind of kills to go the way of MG.Trust. They need to stall for a bit longer. Savage, he does actually...
Arrow not going to connect. There's your chains. Jackie going to jump in for some big strikes on the Magnus, but the TP going to be there. Can they get him in time? No. He'll be alright. And how does Jackie have an Implore again? Like, is this just a guaranteed item when you pick Magnus?
Maybe. It's starting to look like it, Mike. Every match, it's there. Still, I love that Savage switched out to the BKB and they smoke up. They know the RP's down. They got to punish here.
They do. Masaros, not the target they want to go on. He is just a bit too tanky, but they're going to try anyway. With the drums pop, here comes Fearless, however, with the double chains out. Now Whitemon going to die straight off the bat, so you don't have that Static Storm left. Cuckoo going to get the bow down in time, but he might just die anyway, as they just have so much damage on MG.Trust. Abed, he's going to be cautious in that mid lane, because they are just trying to rush him. Abed, oh, look at Fearless, he's cut him off. Great game sense out from Fearless. He knows exactly where the OD would go. And Abed, he'll get punished for trying to farm up that mid wave. It's going to go down. Another kill out for Jackie.
Ooh, this is it's getting pretty scary. MG.Trust, they are pretty big right now. They've got a lot of good damage out, great control. They're punishing Among Us for going for a slightly slower draft. If you're not quite in line with Savage, you definitely aren't at your max capacity yet as Abed as well. So you need to get these items flowing. The farm has to come out somewhere. There's a lot of emphasis here for the sports to really get some control back in these jungles. Although...
Top lane, Boom Bell in a spot of danger, but Fate's Edict is going to make it very hard for Savage to get any hits off. And now the False Promise. Savage does force it, but they are going to try and maybe go after this kill with the arrow. Not going to connect. Savage, he'll jump back in onto the Oracle, but this is going to cost him his life, perhaps. It's just not worth it. He'll have the BKB up now, but that's just an Oracle kill.
Yeah, it's really greedy, but I think knowing how deep he was already for that, he had to go for the kill. I think there was a good chance he was going to die anyway. So that's making the best of a really bad situation. Still not good for Among Us. 6k behind now. You're pulling way ahead on Jackie. Among Us, with a BKB on Savage, maybe you find plays, maybe you find opportunities. You don't have the Desolator though, because you did skip that now. So you're not going to have that insane burst in the PA, at least not yet. If you look at Abed's build-up, he is trying to rush the Hex. Honestly, I really think BKBs earlier just going to be key. Pop those BKBs, force the fights, really just be disciplined around the RP of MG.Trust. If you can do that, I think the fights last long enough that Abed should be able to get a lot of stacks for his Eclipse.
He's still TPing.
Huh.
Oh, they didn't have arrow. Jackie didn't want to commit the RP and did not have skewer either. They had no way. Masaros had Yules up, I believe, but he wasn't close enough.
Yeah, that's a bit awkward. Small win for Among Us, just giving themselves space to breathe. You know, at some point, Jabs will find out Ags as well. He's got the Philosopher's Stone. He's about 350 gold off the Ags, and once that's up, that can make a big difference here. So, MG.Trust, you got to be careful with how much space you are giving out. There's still some decent amount of jungle here that Among Us is playing in, and they are actually farming relatively well considering the situation.
Guardian Greaves now up on Masaros. It's going to really help in terms of sustain here up against Among Us. They do smoke up again. Jackie's looking for that RP attempt, but they're going to go on to Cuckoo first. Glimpse back on to the Ember, but he'll go after Whitemon. Take down the Disruptor. Make sure they can't Glimpse and Static Storm. However, Cuckoo not going to get spotted in time. Does manage to TP away and jabs. Even split pushing that top lane. Does now have the Aghanim Scepter up. He can make use of it. You'll have to wait till he gets back to the fountain and picks it up.
It's going to be a big spike there for jabs, but you've got this BKB ready to go on Jackie.
Savage. Masaros, no Yule's up. Just holds on to it again. Gonna chain after him. There's your Yule's now into the arrow of Q, and it's gonna land perfectly. A nice 5-second arrow into the Starfall, and Savage did not want to commit his BKB. He will get punished.
It's again a nice pick off for MG.Trust. They've got a lot to play with now. The BKB and Jackie allows them to just get a good RP off, saving up for the MKB next. And with those kills, they do go into the Rosh pit. This is not spotted out by Among Us. They're gonna have to really get some vision out there to stop this Rosh. You don't want to play into that Aegis, but without Savage around, they might not have a choice here.
Scan it out. They know they're in there, but MG.Trust are taking it quite quick. They're trying to make their way over. Cuckoo could get vision, but Masaros going to cut him off with the Timbersaw. Torrent is still going to be in the pit. They have vision, but they have no way to get in. Now the Static Storm. They caught out Fearless in the backlines, but they've lost Cuckoo on the Kunkka. And a Chains is out now onto Whitemon. So Glimpse away, but Arrow is going to connect, and Whitemon going to die. Now with that Aegis up, with the RP, they might be able to just go. In fact, MKB is getting very close for Jack.
Oh yeah. It's a lot lining up now for MG.Trust. They've got the damage. They're looking huge on Jackie. They've got the second life. Even Masaros, he's still pretty darn strong. There's nothing to counteract or Timbersaw yet. You're not big enough in Abed to really counteract that. So all Among Us can do is ride through the storm, try to keep farming. They're going to have to give their outer towers for this and play the high ground. Now, their high ground is pretty darn good. Static Storm plus Santi's Eclipse is really nice. If you can land those spells in a big way, then it can make a difference. You just really have to play on the edge, because this is a 9k lead now for MG.Trust. They've got even a BKB up on Fearless. So that control you have, it's not gonna matter too much, and those 10-second charges are gonna make it hard for Abed to build his stacks up on the OD.
Abed doesn't get the Astral off in time. To Masaros, and they've got Cuckoo. He's going to throw the boat out. It might just be too late for it, though. He is all alone. His team is not going to be able to help him. And there, Cuckoo, he does just die. Now they want more Masaros. He'll go forward. Fearless with the remnants. Nice Static Storm out from Whitemon, though. He catches two, but RP is there from Jackie. He's got Savage, but the Astral is going to save him. With the buyback on Cuckoo now. They want to take this team fight knowing the RP is down. Glimpse back onto Boombell. They want the Oracle dead, and they will get the Oracle dead. Onto Masaros it will be. He chains TPs, but the X is out for Cuckoo just in the nick of time, and that'll mean Masaros is also going to go down. Nice punishment out from Among Us now. They desperately needed it.
Yeah, they find some good kills. They punish Jackie for his one-man RP. Really good saves coming out from Among Us. They did have to commit the buyback there on Kukudo, so they are down by one buyback. Net worth lead has widened to 10k here, and MG.Trust, they do still have the Aegis. They've got that MKB up on Jackie, so you can come in and hit the PA, but there's a Deso now in Savage. So there's some damage that can fly in, and they're just using this time smart. They're finding tier 3 items as fast as possible before they get shut out of their jungle back to the high ground. Just trying to get some space out here, trying to build back their net worth. You have to watch Abed. The PA is still scary later on, but it starts to become the OD show. You can see how he ripped into Masaros when he was just left alone. You do not want this OD to be at the point where it just really manages to take control that hard. And we will reach that point at some point. You know, he's still saving up for that Site of Vice. into the BKB. And if they somehow find a space to finish those items, Mike, Abed's going to be really scary to fight into.
He is. With that MKB up on Jackie, he can pretty much solo 23 Savage if he does commit the RP for it. Because Jackie does also still have the Aegis, so you imagine he does want to keep fighting. That RP is going to be back up in 15. For now, though, they are going to hold out. Masaros going to get eyes on Among Us. See where they are, and he goes straight onto Savage with the Yules out in queue. Another arrow to fly in onto Savage. A 5-second charge. Jackie is going to blow up 23. Now onto the OD Abed. How do you get out of this one? He'll Astral. He'll try to TP, but Jackie, can he get the RP in time? He can. And they do not have buybacks.
Oh boy.
If MG.Trust realize they could go high ground right now.
That's a scary position for Among Us. They're going to have to hold out as best as they can. Kuku is just trying to get these waves out, which is a smart play. So they're trying to stall as much as possible, but this is a big opening for MG.Trust. These towers will not stand long without these cores to defend. It's down to Jabs and Whitemon to try to use their spells as best as possible.
Chains in, Masaros, again, just being the frontliner for the team is MG.Trust. They're going to move up now. They may only have time for a T3 tower, though. It is pretty hard to fight without the RP up. But Yules, arrow, going to fly in. Whitemon does pop the arrow, and the skewer back to make sure they can take the easy, safe kill. And Whitemon also does not have buyback gold, so into the racks now. They have time. Savage is up in 10 seconds, but it's probably not going to matter. MG.Trust, they get torrented, but they will have time to leave if they wish. And there's your Aegis expiring now. Perfect timing from Jackie. And they are all out of this. Scot-free. No punishment.
I love that play coming out from Boombell. He was healing up a melee creep, Mike, while the rest of the wave was dying. They had a way to get through that back door still. Among Us, they do want to go headhunting here. They want to try to claw their way back in, but a melee rack's down. One wave that's going to constantly shove out makes it a lot harder for Among Us to find that space they desperately need in this game.
It does. The Radiant jungle, MG.Trust going to hang around. Because they feel very, very confident with this 15k net worth lead, and Dota Plus is already sitting at 95%.
Ooh.
Good news for MG.Trust. They even get a halberd up now, Masaros. So even harder for 23 Savage to get anything done in these fights. Because he does already have the BKB up on that PA, but assuming you can get some good halberd timing on the PA, it's not really going to matter. Into the bot racks they go. They do have some buybacks now up on Among Us, so this team fight could go pretty well for them. They'll glyph first.
Oh.
But RP is going to be there straight onto Abed, and they're just going to delete the OD. He'll buy back. Jackie does not want to fight without the RP or the BKB for that matter, so he's out. Q might be in a spot of trouble, but 23 Savage, he's trying to go for the fight here onto the mag. And oh my god, the crit just takes him out. Now Fearless has to rip it out of there. Masaros has been left behind, and he's going to go down. Tries for the TP, but it's going to be no good. That's 3 down for Motivate.
They forced a buyback out from Abed, which is big, but the bigger thing that happened was Among Us, they split that fight out well. Jab spat Savage onto the back, straight onto Boombell, taking that Oracle out. Without the Oracle, you had no sustain. The disarms weren't quite lining up. You saw that item use. They got the disarm on Savage, but the Yules also came out from Masaros, so kind of counteracted each other, and that's not what you want. They do kind of drop the ball a bit. It's not a major loss. I mean, losing the buyback
Savage
here in Abed is big, although.
Fearless forced the BKB and Remnant out of there. Again, just forcing things away from Motivate.Trust is good news for Among Us. Savage is going to start working now towards that Satanic build up on the PA. Just wanting that survivability on himself. Into the tier 2 mid tower it is.
I mean, you have to be so scared of Savage. He's got the Orb of Destruction, level 20 talent, and, the Desolator as well. That's, again, minus 13 armor. So, you are going to be deleted if you get jumped by this PA. You have to be on point with those disarms to be able to keep that PA down, but MG.Trust, they've still got that network lead. They've still got a huge item spike up on Jackie, and even Masaros and Fearless do have a better time in Abed, and they do smoke up. They've got RP. Well, they should have RP in a bit, and they can try to make something happen. They need to start finding some pickoffs to go into that high ground.
Can they get, though? Why has Fearless got Dagon's queued up? It's a confusing one for me, John. I guess it's good when the PA BKB wears off. You could just kind of use Dagon 5 and try to get her, but Cuckoo caught out on the Kunkka. Gets a nice torrent. Cookie not going to help him out too much. He's going to die. And now there is a gobble up to the backline. Savage, but he doesn't want to fight this. So Jabs is going to die. Savage, he just gets out of there. And now, with 2 more diebacks, or rather 2 heroes dead without buyback on the side of Among Us, they might be able to go high ground again.
Oh, definitely. Like, you don't have the snap, so you don't have this long-range initiation to just catch out the Oracle. And even then, Boombell has been on point with the Ghost Scepter. So it's a lot harder now. Among Us need to somehow stall for another half minute. And the best they can do is just kind of cut creep waves right now. Savage is going to try to find as much farm and space as possible.
They've got the mid creep wave though. They don't need that top creep wave right now. There's another mid creep wave coming in. He hasn't cut that one, so they're going to lose the secondary racks now. They've got Cuckoo up very, very soon, but they have lost the secondary. MG.Trust back to just farming. They know they've got control of this game. There's no need to try and throw it away. But Abed, in that time frame, has managed to pick up the Scythe of Ice. Only problem being, he doesn't have buyback gold, but it's on cooldown anyway for another 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's a bit of a scary time for Among Us. Just sitting here without buyback and Abed. They do smoke up. They want to reveal this item in a big way that was under an obs or at the edge of it. They might be aware of this one.
There is an RP up though. You've got to be very cautious about this. If they die, this game could possibly be over. Cuckoo, get the X off onto Q. Whole team just in the river waiting. Q gonna cop the boat, but Fearless is gonna jump in, and now Savage getting gobbled up straight onto Q, but your false promise is out, and now Jackie, he got the RP onto 23 Savage, and he's gonna be able to take him out. No buyback on him. Now Arbed's a sitting duck in the mid lane. He's trying to force out of there, but it's gonna be no good. Uh-oh. Motivate.Trust. They may have just done it, John. They may be forcing it to a game number 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard defense, and they're gonna have to pop this buyback and Cuckoo, but I don't see too much success here. Numbers game are not in their favor. Maybe find some opportunities with jabs, but it's a lot to try to stave off, and Masaros even gets a Desolator to speed us up.
I love it. Deso Timbersaw, but he's in a spot of danger here. Fortune's End going to fly out. Masaros going to return back to his team as Fearless is going to take his spot, but Rule Remnant back out as well. They just want to go for that Ancient, but Mortimer's Kisses are going to fly in. They'll delay things, take out the creep wave and buy more time. Ancient is exposed now. It's just a very hard defense to try and go for, but they're going to throw out the Torrent and boat. It's the GG has been called. MG.Trust. They do get it to a game number 3. And I'll tell you what, John. This team, they are really giving it to Among Us.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was close game 1 early on. Game number 2 was a lot of back and forth, but MG.Trust held out long enough. They really punished Among Us this time. Just no space to farm, no space to breed. And Among Us, again, they ran a bit of a greedier draft. Abed on a farming hero, Savage as well, and Jabs just being delayed on the Ags timing, not quite lining up. MG.Trust can be feeling good about that. It's going to be a really, really fascinating game number 3. Both teams just very hungry for this first series.
Well, we'll be back with that game 3 in about 10 minutes. We'll see you then.